Let's discuss Nintendo World Championship 2015 and Bethesda press conference. Hello everybody, this is James with RedButtonJamFest.com, and this is a little odd for me to do. Usually we just do Let's Play videos and the sort, but I feel that it's imperative. Due to this being a very special week in gaming, it of all times being E3, to start discussing things, start discussing all the news that's been coming up, to break down each of the big events, kind of pull out some highlights, and as we talk more about the press conferences, to see if we could grade them as well. Of course, there's been a lot of coverage from all different perspectives and angles on E3, and me personally, while I wish I was really at the event, I'm here as a viewer, and of course, admirer. I love video games, obviously. I've been playing them for many, many years, have multitude of different systems from all sorts of different companies. So let me tell you this, let me just lay this out. Even though you probably would hear this argument used a lot, I have no flag to bear, no certain side that I wish more to succeed over the other side. I have personal history with Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, growing up both on Nintendo consoles, diverting towards the Xbox 360, waiting overnight for both those systems, and been a big, I'm not going to lie, a fanboy of those initially. And then, of course, Sony, going back to the PS1 reformatted model all the way up to the current PS4. And I also do have Xbox One and a Wii U as well. And I do not, in any way, shape, or form, just going to use this as some kind of form of saying, yeah, one system's better than the other system because of blah, 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 and such, because in all honesty, if there's one quick thing I could say, is that this E3 thus far has been incredible. And let's just start off from the very beginning of this week, even though essentially it's not the E3 itself, so I guess we could call day -1, is Nintendo's World Championship and Bethesda's press conference. Now, in terms of Nintendo's World Championship, I didn't know what I was going to expect. I was kind of wishing for a wizard-like reveal of a game where you see the game you never saw before in the final round. Of course, that is not the case necessarily, but I'll get to that later. But Nintendo World Championship was really fun. It wasn't something, like I said, I wasn't really expecting much from. My friend Brian, who also works with me, was much anticipating the Nintendo World Championship. And he asked me right after done twitching, like, are you going to watch the Nintendo World Championship? And at first I was just kind of like, probably not. And it's not to be a slight towards all the pro players. I do love to see skilled gamers go at it. It just was a case of, I was just thinking more so forward the next few days, thinking about the press conferences, and was just kind of thinking, is there anything I could get a lot in terms of details from the Nintendo World Championship? As I guess that's kind of a weird way to put it, but it was fun. It was absolutely fun. But let me kind of break it down. You had stages where you have the gamers go. It goes like from 16 players all the way down to the final 2, and you have these 4 stages essentially, and then you have a final round. And you also have a kind of under bracket, this underground level they call it, where they typically tend to throw more old school games at. They did kind of mix and match games. And what was really interesting is they start off right away with something new. They start off something with Splatoon, and I'm really interested to play Splatoon personally myself. And it was kind of fun to see, different things going on with that game and to see how essentially cool that game was. If there's one thing I have to say, though, please, for the love of God, if you have a little kid and you chose to have him on stage with you to commentate, maybe beforehand go over some basic rules of the road. I know he's a younger boy. He gets excited easily. But that's the problem. He kind of went in on inappropriate moments with his commentary. Again, I understand he's a little kid, but it was just kind of him regaling what he's hearing, and it didn't seem like the most appropriate commentator to have at that point in time. And that's just one small part of the show. I'm not going to just throw it down and say Nintendo did a terrible job. How dare they let a little kid commentate for games, but it definitely was kind of an eye-rolling moment every single time that I heard him commentate. I'm not going to lie. Call me an asshole, but that's what I was literally doing when I had heard the little kid talk. And who knows? You guys are probably rolling your eyes right now hearing me talk, so there we go. But anyway, so after Splatoon, we also had a Zelda, which went by really fast, but was cool to watch. as they raced towards the first dungeon. And then another really awesome part was, I thought, was watching 200cc Mario Kart. Now, I know for a fact that I will never challenge a man by the name of Mad Mage ever in Mario Kart, because I would definitely get my ass whooped. And probably any other player that was playing Mario Kart, or let alone participate in this tournament, probably will be able to kick my butt in practically any of those games. So I'm not going to be all high and mighty saying that I am of super skilled, superhuman abilities to beat all these people at all these games. I would love to see myself try to compete in something like that. I probably have an idea that I would not last much further than the first round. But besides the point, going back to commentators, they alternated between a couple sets of commentators, and they had Andre, who's also known as the Black Nerd. And I totally recommend, if you haven't heard of him, which I would be surprised, you could find him on Black Nerd on YouTube. He is awesome. He is funny. He has a lot of charisma, a lot of character. He's really good off the cuff. But the one thing was, they didn't really pertain the conversation towards him. They always seemed to pertain the conversation to the other two individuals, between the host, and there was a set of 3 commentators. Forgive me for forgetting their other names right now. Damn it, I should have been prepared. Just kidding. But besides the point is, there was Andre, and they didn't really literally say, "Hey, Andre, what do you think about this?" Or what do you feel the strategy should be going in on Balloon Fight, Andre? He had to pretty much come in on his own during certain points in the moment, and he was funny. And that's where I kind of felt like you had a better commentator. That why are you almost essentially ignoring him? And that could be just me really being super nitpicky, and I am. This is a format I'm going to allow myself to be nitpicky on, and I would love to hear more of Andre. Call me a Black Nerd fan. I am, but I definitely would love to hear more of him, and it was kind of weird that it seemed like they were snubbing him just a little bit. I don't think, of course, on purpose. I'm not going to go into some weird conspiracy theory about that. Obviously, they invited him on stage, and he was wearing his Luigi hat, and everything was really cool. But besides that, yeah, the games they showed were really fun. They also showed off, lo and behold, Blast Ball, which I am recording this to be honest, I'm recording this on June 16th, so I have advanced knowledge. Spoiler warning, if you want to skip this for some weird reason, and you don't know about this, skip 5 seconds ahead. That is Metroid Prime. But of course you couldn't tell. It had those themes down there, and it was kind of coincidental. We had a Super Metroid like speed run through them fighting the end boss, and then you had this Blast Ball. So, now you look at it in hindsight, it's kind of interesting that the underground level and the normal round, whatever you would call it, above stage level of competition were both the same genre, both the same franchise, I should say, not the same genre. And what do I think of Blast Ball? It's something that looks like it might be fun to play, but dull to watch. Going to be honest, it's one of the new stuff that they haven't shown before this point, and I'm just going to say it like it is. It was kind of boring. I lost my interest. Does not mean that it's not going to be fun when I get in my hands. It's probably going to be a hell of a time, because anything even that ground level pretty much is soccer / Pong is going to be fun. So outside of that, they ended it off not with a big reveal of a new game, but essentially a showing off Mario Maker as Super Mario Maker. And this was kind of big. Like, before, when they revealed Mario Maker last E3, last Nintendo Digital event, 2014, I thought it looked interesting, but they didn't obviously show all the art sets for it. There was talk that the levels that you could create had to be small in scale. So there's a lot that were going against it, almost essentially right off the bat. Cool concept, but I was worried about what the execution was going to be from what I heard from the earlier on. And now seeing it, they had the 2 finalists. One was John Numbers, and the other one being Cosmo. And they had him go in these 4 custom levels, each styled in different art styles. One being Super Mario Brothers, the next one being Super Mario Bros. 3, the third one being Super Mario World, and the final one being modeled using the new Super Mario U style. And it showed not only the differences in visual styles, but it also showed all the weird things you could do, having chomps on these little lines and pipes popping out, having enemies pop out of blocks when you hit them, having multiple springs that are manning. It's just the amount of objects they could have on the screen. The way that they could really create these devious levels was amazing. It was something where I was just like, I was gripped in. I was like, especially with Cosmo's play, I was like, go to the right, the treadmill's gonna give you enough momentum, go to the right. And then it was kind of frustrating when he just kept trying to go back to the left because you see this vine above this chain part. But that's besides the point. It was really cool to see this game, and my heart goes out to Cosmo. I felt kind of bad that he lost. I mean, someone had to lose, and I have nothing against John Numbers. I'm not going to go wait out John Numbers' hotel number, cracking my knuckles, saying Cosmo should have won, you wise guy, you, because I honestly I don't know these guys personally. So this is me being a creeper, just being like, oh, Cosmo, he should win, because he's cool. But it was really cool to see these people play it, and it was awesome. You had Surumam about to go out. He signs to these 3DSs. He raised both her hands up. There was a nice big medal. It was a really cool event. I am not going to lie. I came away enjoying it, and it was 4 hours. So it definitely was a time sink, but it was definitely a very interesting time sink. And it did showcase a lot of games. Now, I do want to divert back. I know I kind of bounced around here, and I am going to admit something. I'm recording this a bit off the cuff, so I'm not, super well prepared. Yeah, hold that towards me, Mr. Professional here. But Reggie, he had a challenge out for him on Super Smash Bros. Last year, where they did a Super Smash Bros. Tournament during E3 2014. And he pulled it off that he'll do it a year later. Here's the thing. I'm going to call this now getting Reggified. Reggie was played as Ryu, one of the new characters they announced earlier today that became available for DLC, which, yes, I threw money at Nintendo because I thought that was awesome DLC that they announced that day. I'm not going to lie. I love that DLC and I love that Miiverse stage. Sorry, had to jump off in 2 other topics at once. But back to what I was trying to say is, Reggie had a challenge. And I'm not expecting Reggie to win this, even though it would have been really cool to see Reggie win it. I wasn't expecting it because I know he's the executive type, and I'm not expecting him to be this super pro-level gamer. But the thing was, I was hoping that he would have had at least a little bit more practice with the game. See, there was obviously times when Reggie was jumping off the stage and not showing any attempt to get back on the stage, which that's the basics of the game. So if I would have had a little bit more going for Reggie, if it at least showed that he could try to get back on the stage, he could still get his ass kicked, but it was obvious that Reggie didn't really practice the game, let alone get the basics down. So again, I'm not expecting to win this, but I'm going to call it good Reggified when I accidentally jump off the stage and not try to get back on. Sorry, that sounds cruel. Reggie, my body's still ready. I still have much love for you. I was embarrassed for you in a weird way during watching that. I was just kind of like groaning, like, come on, Reggie, come on. And it was obvious that the other player, he was playing as Jigglypuff, the challenger, sorry if I forgot his name. It was obvious that he was trying to get Reggie to get a point because he ended up not putting as much effort in even moving or defending his character. And obviously he started off with his best foot forward, so that he pretty much was on purpose trying to, give Reggie a point, which is nice. At that point, it was kind of like, you could see that Reggie wasn't really, versed in this game's mechanics, not even to an intermediate skill level, let alone a beginner skill level, that, he's kind of it almost seemed like he was through into this game that, yeah, if I was a challenger, I would try to have Reggie at least get a couple points on me too. No, I'm not going to lie. But you know what? Props to Reggie. I just wish he practiced on it. But that was a Nintendo World Championship 2015. If I could rate it, that's the problem. It's hard to rate things because that's a kind of event that's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to get your mom and dad to sit down, or people who are not too into gaming to sit down, and even gamers themselves that are probably more invested in first-person shooters to really want to watch this kind of event, to let you watch the events such as new game reveals or anything of that sort. But if I were to rate it, I would give it a solid B. If you're a Nintendo fan and you just love to watch some skilled players go at it, and you want to go to certain segments now that it is up online, I recommend it. I recommend taking some time and watch a few rounds of it, especially the final round. It was pretty dang cool when they were going back and forth for the first 3 parts of that final round between John Numbers and Cosmo. And it is, even if you know the results now, because I spoiled it for you, I say still watch it. It's really cool. It's really fascinating, and it's definitely a nice piece of entertainment. I give it a B. I hope they do it again next year. So let's move on to the next big piece of Sunday, was Bethesda. Now, this is the first press conference from Bethesda. This is technically the first press conference of E3, and this is now preceding the usual Monday being the day 0. So what can I say? This is day -1? I guess so. So Bethesda, they start off right away with Doom. They start off with a lengthy playthrough of Doom. They showed you even a level in hell, a level not in hell. They showed you a new, what they call snap map, where you can actually create levels, seemingly intuitive from what they showed in the video, on multiple platforms outside of PC, which is, it looks really cool. It looks awesome. It looks like classic Doom. I personally love the original Doom 1. And I also love Doom 3 as well, even though Doom 3 became a Monster Claus and it was kind of dark and slower pace. I love that. I love both turns of that franchise. And seeing this return back to that more fast pace, it's a little more over top in the gore factor. It looks nice. It looks fun. It has very nice nostalgic touches in the sound effects and music and its character design. It looks like it's going to be a really fun game. It's something that I heard of, and I was like, cool, Doom. All right. Now that I saw it, all right, I have my money. Here it is. It's easy. Here's my wallet. I'll totally buy that game when that comes out. Unless, of course, I hear other things or see other stuff that makes it look like it's not really coming up to par. And then what also Bethesda showed off is games such as Battlecry, which I personally have seen a trailer for it at Phoenix Comic-Con, and I was introduced to the game prior to this conference, and I think the game looks cool. It does have a little bit of cartoony style to it, but I still think it looks like a really nice, cool team-based game, and I definitely am looking forward to it. And what they also showed off was Elder Scrolls Online, and I'm not too big on MMOs. I do love Elder Scrolls. I've been playing it since Morrowind, and then, of course, aforementioned of Oblivion and Skyrim. And I know there have been other Elder Scrolls before that. I have yet to play those. But Elder Scrolls Online, it looks interesting. It looks like they got the different worlds of Tamriel and Morrowind and a few others. And it coming to consoles, maybe I'll give it a shot, give it a try, and see if it's all that crack up to be. I'm glad that it's essentially not a monthly subscription model anymore, so that is a bit enticing, not gonna lie. And then they showed a new card-based game. I believe it's called Elder Scrolls Legends, and it is, I don't know. I'm thinking Hearthstone now, and I guess they are maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it is almost going to be their answer to Hearthstone. Is it going to work? I can't tell. They just really didn't show too much of it, let alone gameplay, except they say it's Elder Scrolls and it's going to be a card strategy game. Fill in the blanks. And then they showed Dishonored 2. And the trailer for this game looks cool. I do love the art design of Dishonored's world, but I'm going to be upfront about this. I didn't really care for Dishonored 1. And I know it's a critically acclaimed game. I know that there's a good amount of fans for this game, so I know I'm more in the minority when I say this. It didn't really grip me as much. Maybe I should give it another try, but, so seeing that they revealed Dishonored 2, I nodded my head and said, it's going to sell them copies. The first one did well. They need to make a bit more change, and it looks like a solid franchise to build sequels to, so great news for people that are Dishonored fans. Maybe not the news pertaining to me, but they're not doing this conference for me. Last time I checked, this is not for James press conference E3 2015. So it was cool that they showed it. And then, of course, the dessert. Why am I calling it dessert? It's the main course. It is what everybody's been looking forward to since they showed a reveal trailer, and that is Fallout 4. When you saw Todd Howard shredding stuff out there and talking about the history of when he went to E3 and its early goings, or essentially gaming in terms of CES and its early goings being next to a porn booth of all things. Who would think that? Then they go right into the demo, and it was a nice, demo. It was really cool. I love the character creation system of essentially cursoring over certain parts of the face that you want to edit. And then you could easily go between the husband and wife, so you could play as a female or male just by looking in a bathroom mirror. It's a cute way of doing character creation. The fact that they have a name base that they could pull from as well is really cool. And the combat system looks like solid Fallout. Fallout 3, I should say. It has that VAT system. It has a first-person shooting to it. Also a third-person action, of course, and with the RPG elements. And you also have the Pip-Boy. And the Pip-Boy is now an app on your phone. That is so freaking cool. And you could also get the collector's edition where you could have your phone mounted into it and look like you have an actual Pip-Boy on your arm at all times. It looks like a pretty legit second screen experience that would actually come to use. Now, personally myself, I'm not going to fork over the extra dough for that little holder that goes on your arm for it to make it a complete Pip-Boy experience. I think I'm going to resort to duct taping my phone on my arm and call it the Ghetto Boy 1.0. It's functional. It's going to leave a little residue on both my arm and phone. Also, a good way to leave my arms nice and hairless as well after each playthrough of Fallout 4. But you know what? Fallout 4 looks great. Everybody's psyched about it. Well, everybody that I know. You, let me know. Message me. Are you excited for this? Are you not? I would like to know. I really do. But overall, what to grade Bethesda's conference? This is their first conference, and it was lengthy gameplay demos of games that people want to see. And also, side note, Fallout Shelter looks fun. Gotta download it. That's another thing they showed off too. But anyway, back to the grade. Okay, I know I sound like I'm easy going on grades. Maybe I am. I also give this a B. It was a really fun press conference. It had the franchises to carry through. It had a pretty good pace for most of it. The only thing I probably would say is maybe a host that was maybe able to liven things up here and there a little bit more. No offense, but really, I saw a big chunk of Doom. That's what I wanted to see. I saw a big chunk of Fallout 4. Another thing a lot of people would want to see. I saw chunks of games that look like fun experiences for different crowds of people. The only thing I could hold against it is there wasn't really a surprise. Dishonored 2, unfortunately, was spoiled before the conference, so there wasn't really a big surprising game except maybe Fallout Shelter and the idea that there's going to be a card game for Elder Scrolls. I mean, but they're just not humongous surprises. So, and, otherwise maybe trim up a few little things here and there. But overall, a B. Fun conference. Good job, Bethesda. Great way to start off this E3 week with both the Nintendo World Championship Edition and the Bethesda press conference, and also Nintendo's little digital event revealing their DLC for Smash Bros. How could I forget that? I love the fact that you get Ryu now, and a Heihachi, and a virtual fighter Akira, all in his blocky glory, Mii costume, or Mii outfit, to be very technical, for download, outside of Lucas and Roy. A lot of cool stuff on Sunday. Great way to start the week. If you enjoyed this video, there will be more to come, and there's also Let's Play videos, podcasts, vlogs, articles, and more about everything, not just video games, but movies, about science, about economics, and also even just little minutia like good BBQ. You can check more stuff like this at redbuttonjamfest.com, and I'm imagining screens popping up that you can click and go see more videos. And if you do like it, subscribe. Thank you so much. And if you want to email me personally, my email address is jimwa@redbuttonjamfest.com. And I'm open to any sorts of criticisms, or if you guys want to see more topics to tackle for future Game Dingleberries Let's Discuss, I'm down. All right, y'all, take care, and game on. Yeah. I just said game on. I'll come up with a cooler way to end off. But game on, okay? Just game on, all right?